News at 5 and 6.
For generations, the concept of peace in the Middle East has been like a mirage, slipping away just when it seemed to be getting closer. Today, what may be a major step forward, or perhaps yet another mirage. The U.S. and the Soviet Union announced that a Middle East peace conference will be held at the end of the month.
This invitation offers the peoples in this region a pathway to ending an era of confrontation, and it offers a basis for a new future.
Tonight, is this a genuine chance for peace, or just another photo opportunity?
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Back in the early 70s, when I was one of about a dozen diplomatic correspondents who seemed to spend half our lives in the back of Henry Kissinger's plane, jetting from one Middle Eastern capital to another, we paid our first visit to Damascus. U.S.-Syrian relations were so strained at the time that an advance team of Secret Service agents brought along their own food and water. They were that concerned about being drugged or poisoned. At the time, Secretary Kissinger had two central goals: nudging the Israelis and Arabs into step-by-step negotiations and keeping the Soviet Union out of the process. That was almost 20 years ago. But the basic issues are fundamentally unchanged. Israeli occupation of territories that they took from Syria and Jordan in the 1967 war. Arab refusal, with the exception of Egypt, to recognize Israel as a permanent and legitimate state in the region. And, of course, the claim of Palestinians to a homeland of their own. What has changed is the rest of the world. The Soviet Union has now recognized Israel, and President Gorbachev will be side by side with President Bush at the end of this month when a Middle Eastern peace conference gets underway in Madrid. Nothing about negotiating peace in the Middle East has ever been easy, and that, as Dean Reynolds reports from Israel, is still the case.
After 7 long months and 8 arduous trips to the Middle East, James Baker announced that the Arabs and the Israelis had come to the threshold of history. The peace conference is now scheduled, but no one, least of all Baker, has any illusions about the road ahead.
It will be extremely difficult, with many problems, many hitches, and probably many interruptions along the way. Old suspicions will not disappear quickly. The gaps are real, and the gaps will not be easily overcome.
Baker has lined up a group of adversaries who have little or no idea what happens next. The Israelis can't even say for sure that they will go to Madrid until the cabinet votes on Sunday.
When we ask, let's say, the Americans, well, what are you thinking of at the conference? They really haven't thought of anything besides this very general, the dynamic should work.
The Palestinians are still arguing with each other over which delegates will represent them at the talks. All they can seem to agree on now is that Israel can have no say in the selection.
We are saying here that if those names will be put in front of the Israeli government, it means that the whole peace process will be in danger.
The Palestinians know that is not quite true. Israel said it would not deal with anyone from East Jerusalem or from outside the occupied territories, and Baker made the Palestinians accept that or miss the conference altogether. The Syrians will be in Madrid, but without showing much enthusiasm. They won't participate in talks on regional issues like water or arms control. They will not even shake any Israeli's hand.
I would tell you frankly, no. Simply because this very hand is guilty, because it's a hand which occupies our lands.
Occupied land is the central issue. The Arabs want it back. The Israelis say, forget it. And with 240,000 Jewish settlers living on disputed land, the problem is enormous and getting bigger every day as Israel continues to tighten its grip. The settlers who heckled Baker this week are sure to resist any territorial compromise. So too are the small right-wing parties in Shamir's coalition, who together could topple his government. And Shamir has major problems in his own party. He is already being challenged for the leadership by Menachem Begin's son, Benjamin. and by Ariel Sharon. Sharon is the darling of those Israelis who delight in telling their American benefactors to butt out. The peace process, he said in Britain today, is a trap.
I'm afraid that this process that Israel has been dragged and pushed to take, which I would call an international field tribunal, will not bring peace. I'm afraid it will bring war.
It was only 9 months ago that an Arab dictator attacked Israel. Many Israelis believe Syrian strongmen Hafez al-Assad and Iraq's Saddam Hussein are two of a kind.
The initial impression of a breakthrough by virtue of Assad's positive response to Secretary Baker has since dissipated to some extent.
Syria is currently importing Scud missiles like those Iraq fired at Israel. The Soviets are said to be selling them new tanks and new warplanes. And history shows that in this region, nations tend to use the weapons they acquire against each other. There has been a war here in every decade since the establishment of Israel. The resulting human misery has not stopped the arms race. All the countries in this region spend heavily. Some even risk impoverishment to assure their external and internal security. Paradoxically, the nation that is most enriched by profits from the Middle East arms bazaar is the same one that is simultaneously promoting the current peace process, the United States.
The United States in the past, since the Gulf War, is the major supplier of arms to this part of the world.
The regional arms race could slow if the superpowers wanted it to. With the Soviet Union's decision to co-sponsor the peace conference and to restore diplomatic ties to Israel, the world order is changing, and that raises hopes that the Middle East may change along with it.
We're convinced that history is now holding out an opportunity that we must not pass up.
The invitations have gone out and the official responses are due no later than next Wednesday. The Arabs, the Israelis, and the rest of the world are about to see if peace in the Middle East can be more than the lofty goal of a lifetime, more than just a dream. Dean Reynolds for Nightline in Jerusalem.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Israel's ambassador to the United States, who took part in the meetings between Prime Minister Shamir and Secretary of State Baker, and by a Palestinian activist who helped decide the makeup of the Palestinian delegation to the peace conference.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Charles Schwab.
Everyone has a dream, a vision deep inside.
When I decide to follow up on an investing idea, I need a broker who's ready when I am.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
I can call Schwab at any hour, nights or weekends, get the information I need, even place an order to trade.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
I hear some poor sap named Al bought a Toyota Celica All-Track, then found out this Eagle Talon cost almost $5,000 less.
Look, I don't want to talk about it, okay?
Al?
By day, I race an Eagle Talon, but by night, I'm practicing to be a great opera singer.
Oh, what do your fans say to that?
Don't quit your day job.
You may never need Pearl's free breakage guarantee. But you never know. At Pearl, we'll repair or replace your glasses free for 1 full year, no matter how they break. Now look for Pearl's money-saving coupons. Call 1-800-YES-EYES for locations.
All Burlington warehouses join in celebrating the grand opening of the new Burlington Coat Factory.
Wait till you see the famous labels.
Wait till you see the low prices.
On designer label fashions for women.
And save on famous brand menswear.
Kids' clothes and baby furniture. Luxury linens, too.
With all this, why call it Burlington Coat Factory?
Because they have more of these than anybody.
Come to Burlington's grand opening and see why America's #1 place to save on coats is America's #1 place to save on everything.
I'm David Brinkley. On our This Week program Sunday, is Washington out of touch with our country, more concerned with foreign problems than our own? Should this be a political issue? Joining us now live from Tel Aviv is Zalman Shoval, Israel's ambassador to the United States, who took part in this week's meetings between Secretary of State Baker and Israeli Prime Minister Shamir. And from Jerusalem, Hanan Mikhail Ashrawi, a Palestinian activist who helped determine who would represent the Palestinians at the peace conference. Mr. Ambassador, I think it's only fair that our audience know that even though the two of you have agreed to come on this program together tonight, circumstances, political circumstances, are still such that you will not talk to each other. At a time when the whole world is focusing on this peace conference, which seems to bear so much possibility for hope, why are such technicalities still observed?
It's not a technicality. We will talk to the Palestinians. We want to talk to the Palestinians in the territories. We do not want to talk to the PLO, which is irrelevant to the peace process. It's probably, I would say, even a deal breaker.
But now, to the best of my knowledge, while I know that Hanan Ashrawi has close ties to the PLO and speaks often with its leadership, to the best of my knowledge, she is not a member.
Well, we may have different ideas, but we will definitely talk to the Palestinian representatives from the territories. As a matter of fact, we have tried to do that for the last 43 years. They could have come after Camp David. We offered them the same proposals, more or less, that we offer them now. They rejected us, unfortunately, and I think they suffered a great deal of misfortune because of their rejectionism.
Dr. Ashrawi, what does this suggest, then, is going to be the fate of this peace conference if indeed there is still this much bitterness and this much focusing on, yes, this Palestinian, but not that Palestinian, and it works the other way around, too?
Well, I think it's symptomatic of what Israel has been doing all along. It wants to select our leadership for us. It wants to select the people it wants to negotiate with. It wants to impose its own solutions on us. The Palestinians have their own leadership, chosen democratically. We have the PLO, which is a legitimate representative with credibility, representing all Palestinians everywhere. Israel wants to find Palestinians who are more to its liking, who can agree with Israel, and who at the same time would be under occupation and therefore incapable of speaking out freely or acting freely. And I think this points out to a very basic problem in the peace process. You are bringing captive Palestinians, Palestinians under occupation to negotiate with their occupiers. And I think that's not a situation of symmetry.
Have you picked your delegation yet? And is it one that you can live with? And knowing what the Israeli conditions are, is it one the Israelis will be able to live with?
Well, the problem is that you say the peace process should not have preconditions. And we started with several Israeli preconditions. The Palestinian delegation is being picked. It has been picked. And it will be, and Secretary Baker will be notified today about the composition of the delegation.
But you know what will be acceptable to the Israelis and what will not, so even if you don't want to give me the names, and quite frankly, they probably wouldn't mean a whole lot to most Americans watching tonight anyway, will it be a delegation that's going to be acceptable to the Israelis?
I don't think that's our primary concern. I think our primary concern is to have a delegation that's credible to the Palestinian people and that is capable of representing the Palestinians and presenting a strong case. And I think that the people who are looking at the list will be the Mr. Baker and the co-sponsors.
Dr. Ashrawi, you and I have known each other much too long, and you know I'm not going to let you get away with evading a question. My question is, ultimately, when the Israelis see the list, is that going to be a deal breaker? Is it, in other words, going to be the kind of list that will cause them to say, sorry, if that's going to be the makeup of the delegation, we're not going to Madrid?
Well, from my personal assessment, I don't think so, but you never know with the Israelis what they want to censor or what they don't want to. They might not like the color of somebody's eyes. I don't know. But I know on the basis of the political discussions and agreements we had with Mr. Baker that the delegation is certainly not going to shock anybody. And certainly we are not going to disturb the sensitive sensibilities of Mr. Cheval and others by putting people like myself on the negotiating team. However, we reserve our right to act in the peace process in other capacities.
Ambassador Chauvel, in fact, you have an assurance from Secretary Baker, don't you, that you don't have to accept a Palestinian delegation that is unacceptable to you?
I don't want to harp on that because we are very close to the peace conference, and I trust that the Palestinian delegation which will come forward will be the one which accepts the rules which have been set by Secretary Baker. We don't want to pick the Palestinian leadership. We just don't want to sit down with people who even a week ago still sent terror gangs into Israel, killing people. 2 weeks ago tried to attack an Israeli town. A UN observer was killed in that. We can have a veto on ourselves. We don't want to sit with people who are intending to murder us, to kill our children. And that's all. And I think there are plenty of credible leaders among the Palestinians. Dr. Ashrawi is a very eloquent spokesman or spokesperson, but she's working for a bad firm. And if they want to keep the PLO in the closet, that's their business. But if the PLO would come out of the closet, they know that would be a deal breaker and they would have to pay for it. And that's a pity because we want to solve the Palestinian problem. We are interested in that.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'd like to get both of your assessments on just the process. What's going to happen when everyone gets to Madrid after that first couple of days of everyone shaking hands, or not everyone shaking hands, but everyone posing for pictures. We'll continue our discussion in a moment.
Hardware sale, and it's happening right now. Like this Craftsman 3.5 horsepower 15-gallon compressor, save $50. This Craftsman half horsepower garage door opener with 2 3-function transmitters, only $149.99. And save $100 on this Craftsman 5 horsepower chipper shredder.
Shreds limbs and branches up to 3 inches in diameter. It's Sears' biggest hardware sale, and it's happening right now.
So hurry to Sears today.
Ford Motor Company profiles in quality, vision.
Quality of the glass that goes into our cars is so important, we make it ourselves.
No other car company in the world does that.
Ford glass has to pass over 110 quality inspections. Our people check it, our lasers check it, our robots check it.
Our glass is so good, it not only goes into our cars, many other automakers put it in their cars.
Our goal is to build the highest quality cars and trucks in the world.
At Ford, quality is job one.
I don't ask why and I don't ask how. That's because I already know where. Right here.
For Ace Best Buys of the Week, nationally branded products, money-saving prices. Ames Green Sweeper Wide Sweep Lawn Rake is light and easy to use, has no metal parts to rust. Wide head rakes more faster, only $4.88. 2 4-packs of GE soft white light bulbs in 40, 60, 75, and 100-watt sizes. After available rebate, only $1.99. These and other Best Buys are participating Ace hardware dealers.
Hey, Ace is the place for me.
It's your Dodge dealer's factory authorized clean sweep clearance. We're clearing out 91 models and we've got low prices and big cash back on select models like roomy Spirits with $1,500 cash back. Mid-size Dakota pickups with $1,000 cash back. Get $500 back on Caravan. Plus, no extra charge air on select models. Hurry to the clean sweep clearance now before we're all cleaned out. Rediscover American values.
Get your best deal at Pat Holohan's Music City Dodge, 710 Murfreesboro Road.
It's the grand opening of Furniture Factory Outlet, Nashville's newest, most exciting furniture showroom. 50,000 square feet of name brand furniture at lowest guaranteed prices every day. You've seen this fully reclining sofa on sale from $5.99 to $8.99. During our grand opening, while they last, this fully reclining sofa is an unheard of $444. This is just one of our incredible values. Proof at Furniture Factory Outlet, we save you money.
He's a hero to some, a scoundrel to others. Now, for the first time in 5 years, Oliver North sits down for a face-to-face interview. A behind-the-scenes look at the Iran-Contra affair. Just what Ronald Reagan knew about it. And Oliver North's new autobiography that's been written secretly. Oliver North Live, beginning Monday on Nightline. Ambassador Cheval, as you know, most American news organizations are going through a budget crunch right now. If you were running one of them, would you waste your money on sending a lot of producers, correspondents, and camera crews over to Madrid for those first 2 days, or is it just a big photo opportunity?
Well, even if it's just a big photo opportunity, it's one of the biggest ever. And I think there may be more. It really depends on the participants. We come there willingly. We want to achieve peace. After all, who wants peace more than we do? We have some suspicions about some of the Arab participants, mainly Syria. I think Syria goes to this whole process because they just want to grab the Golan. They have refused even the name or the goal of this process to be peace treaties and diplomatic relations, and that's, after all, what the process is all about. And they don't want to participate in the regional conference and so on. But maybe, once you sit down, you talk to each other, you see where your real interests lie, I think we can achieve something. And I think there are many Arabs in this area who have perhaps finally understood that they have nothing to fear from Israel, that their real concerns should lie someplace else. After all, the biggest war in this area was just last year when Iraq attacked another Arab country. So maybe we can achieve something. The American government has been very, very forceful on this, and we shall certainly do our best.
Dr. Ashrawi, after the first couple of days, that first phase of the peace conference, when the doors are finally closed and the camera crews are banished to the sidewalk outside the hotels, and it goes into the phase where there are bilateral talks, do you have high expectations?
Well, let me answer first by saying that one cannot really approach this whole peace process with a very glib attitude or the attitude of going to a spectacle, because it really affects our lives and our futures. And it's an extremely serious and sensitive and delicate and dangerous business. I've never thought I'd ever say this, but I really feel that we're approaching this peace process or conference with a heavy heart and a great deal of pain. And I think we should take it with enough seriousness and magnitude equivalent to the significance of the moment.
I think you're quite right to issue that warning. And if for some reason I have sounded too glib, I apologize to both of you. But it is based on more than 20 years of having covered this story and watching so many false pieces, phony starts, so much posturing on all sides, that I must say I come to it with a certain degree of cynicism and wondering whether two parties that are not even able to exchange a couple of words on a television broadcast are truly able, even with other representation, to sit down and negotiate with each other in good faith and make something happen.
Yeah. Well, Ted, no reprimand intended. I was trying to set the record straight, and I have no objections to exchanging any words with Mr. Cheval. I think he's the one who has objections to exchanging words with me.
Well, and in fairness,
you know as I know that I am not a PLO member.
No, he is under instructions from his government, and you understand that also. Yes. And I don't want to embarrass him by having raised it, but it's fair that the audience know why the two of you are not talking to each other.
Yeah, but that's the real problem. It's not that I'm a PLO member, because I'm not, and anybody who is a PLO member in the occupied territories is automatically in jail. We are not allowed to belong to any political parties. So he cannot claim that. And another thing, they're trying to exclude East Jerusalemites from the negotiating process because they want to pre-establish or prejudice the outcome of negotiations and to allow the process to incorporate Israel's illegal annexation of East Jerusalem. And I think that's the real issue. The third issue is that they think that the PLO signifies the national identity and therefore the national dimension of the Palestinian question, which means statehood. They want to deal with us as individuals under occupation and therefore negate our national rights to statehood and the national unity of the Palestinian people everywhere. Now, I set that record straight, but I think that this peace process is a moment of tremendous historical significance. I think it took a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of sincere and dedicated pursuit of peace on the part of many, many people. And I think that the beginning of bilateral negotiations will be the real acid test for people's genuine intentions for peace.
Ambassador,
I know that right now our major obstacle
I just wanted to cut you off because, in fairness, I do want to be able to go back and forth just a little bit and give you both more or less the same amount of time. Ambassador Chauvel.
Let me just make one comment. I mean, we don't need to pre-establish anything on Jerusalem. I think the other side wants to post-establish something. You have to change history if anybody wants to question Israel's role in the history of Jerusalem. Jerusalem has always been our capital, always been the capital of the Jewish people, and we are just not going to discuss that.
Well, you underscore, Ambassador Chauvel, what one of the great dangers of a conference like this is, and that is if you go immediately to the heart of the issue, which could be something like the Jerusalem issue, it is doomed to fail. If you do not begin on somewhat smaller, easier issues, and that was going to lead me to my next question, what is the first stage going to be after that introductory two-day opening?
Well, I think you're quite right in your comments, and that's why the two-stage process about the Palestinian question has been established. First, we are going with the Jordanian-Palestinian delegation, we're going to discuss the interim stage, what used to be called autonomy, which may be called self-governing arrangements or self-government for the first 3 years. And I think agreement on this can be arranged.
Ambassador
now,
Chauvel, we've only got about 15 seconds left.
The other set is negotiations with the Arab states on peace treaties. If there is a will, they can be achieved like we achieved peace with Egypt.
Ambassador Chauvel, Dr. Ashrawi, thank you both very much, and from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all good luck when it comes to this peace conference. Let's all hope that we'll be surprised this time around.
Thank you. Let's hope so.
I'll be back in a moment with a note about a special program coming up next week.
Where do you want to be in 20 years?
Well, my father worked for the same company for 39 years. He got 2 weeks vacation, but we never traveled far. He was saving to put 3 kids through college. At 65, he retired. At 67, he died. How can I invest so that after my kids graduate, I can enjoy the second half of my life?
You can get there from here with Shearson Lehman Brothers.
I'd like to have a word with you, and that word is and. It's a word you don't hear much if you're spending less than 10 grand on a car. Unless you're looking at Plymouth Sundance America. It gives you an automatic transmission, and air, and a stereo, and a driver's airbag, and the owner's choice protection plan. And it's the only car that gives you those ands and 50 others for under 10 grand.
Now get a warranty choice no other manufacturer offers.
America's most popular brand of appliances on sale right now at Sears Brand Central. So hurry and save $30 on this matching heavy-duty Kenmore washer-dryer pair, now at their lowest prices ever.
There's one battery that backs you with free jumpstart service anywhere, for any reason. Die Hard.
Can't believe I left my lights on.
Sears Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
Who's gonna back you better than Sears?
Furniture, when it's got to be good. When it's got to be wood, it's got to be Naked Furniture. Our specialty is fine wood furniture for the way you live, for the way you work. Furniture just for you, custom finished by us. And with all this quality, all this style, we didn't have to make it affordable. But we did. Naked Furniture, real wood, affordably priced.
Save 20 to 40% on all dining rooms now at Naked Furniture on Nolensville Road.
A reminder, beginning Monday, Oliver North will be sitting down for his first face-to-face interview in 5 years. For 2 nights, the former Reagan National Security aide will give us a behind-the-scenes look at the Iran-Contra affair and what was going on at the White House. That'll be beginning Monday on Nightline. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
If you wish a videocassette version of Nightline, the cost is $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping and handling. For a transcript, send $4 to 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado 80203.
Nightline is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
America's watching ABC.
Who could this be? What do I see? There's music in
dancing's a counting.